The grid is set, the drivers are ready, and it's almost race time. And Race Day has all the lowdown as we come to you live from The Rock. And hello, everybody. I'm Mark Allen, sitting in for Pat Patterson today, and welcome to the North Carolina Motor Speedway, where the second race of the Winston Cup season is just about an hour away. With all the hype surrounding Daytona, many NASCAR veterans consider this the first real race of the season, while others see it as a chance to redeem themselves. Either way, the first thing is to make it into the show. Here are the highlights from qualifying on Friday in this Mopar Performance Report. Let's deal with the Duke first. That's the car that Kyle Petty won a bunch of races and poles a few years back here at Rockingham. It was back after a strange journey out west.
I don't know how we got it back. I tell you, we won races with it in 90 and 91 and 92. For 2 or 3 years there, we won some races with it. And then we sold it. It was just an old race car. And it ended up with some ARCA guy out in Iowa somewhere. I don't know. And Steve Knipe, our parts guy, he knew who he had sold it to, so we called him back, and they said, yeah, that car's no good. We're not using it anymore. So they had it sitting somewhere. So they went all the way to Iowa and picked it up, and we put it back together. And we run it 2 or 3 times. It's been a pretty good old race car. I can't complain about it. Hopefully, I don't know if it's as fast as it used to be, but hopefully it's somewhere close.
Duke didn't do well, and Kyle didn't crack the top 20. Dale Earnhardt's motor swapping wasn't just for exercise. A cracked cylinder head forced the change. But it didn't help much, as the series champ also didn't make the field on the first day. And then there's 500 winner Sterling Marlin, who also missed in first-round qualifying. So enough futility. In something of a surprise, Jeff Gordon earned his first Rockingham pole with a track record run of 157.6 miles per hour.
It means a lot to me, a lot of satisfaction, because the only place I've ever sat on a pole is at Charlotte, and it makes you feel like you can't qualify anywhere else. And I know we've been fast here in the past, and it's pretty special to run this fast and to sit on the pole here at Rockingham. This has been a good track for me in the past, and I'd like to make it work in Winston Cup.
From the North Carolina Motor Speedway, this is Mark Allen reporting for Race Day. And besides Jeff Gordon on the front row, it will be Ricky Rudd in the Tide Chevrolet. Behind him, it's the brothers Bodine sitting together on row number 2. Sterling Marlin wound up 22nd on the grid, while Dale Earnhardt rolls off 23rd. Now, by the way, Kyle and the Duke start 27th in the 42-car field. Now, last week, about this time, Sterling Marlin was concentrating on trying to make his second straight Daytona 500 victory lane appearance, and by the end of the day, he had done just that. And now, besides concentrating on today's Goodwrench 500, he also joins us live to talk about an incredible week. And Sterling, first question up, how did you handle all the hype and attention from this year's 500 differently from the hype from last year's?
Well, it was pretty much the same as it was last year. Just I love to do it every year. I tell you, it meant a lot to the Kodak race team to go down there and defend the crown and win it again. And it was a big relief when it was all over and we're sitting in victory circle.
Last weekend's race, you had a very strong race car, no question about it, both handling and in performance. How surprised were you to see Dale Earnhardt come up that fast in those final few laps, and then his ability not to pass you, or I guess to say not his ability to pass you?
Well, I figured, when he did go in and get tires, I didn't know exactly where he would line up on the restart. And, me and him come through the Busch Clash, like from 12th, and he started 10th, come to the lead in a lap and a half. So I knew he'd be coming, and, that Black 3 was getting bigger, and, it got to me and seemed like he, leveled off, and that was as far as it could go.
You're a fellow that's always going to be known for keeping Dale Earnhardt from winning the Daytona 500, but now let's shift gears. Another week, another racetrack, the North Carolina Motor Speedway here. Not your best qualifying effort. How do you feel about today's race based on yesterday's final practice session?
Well, the Kodak Chevy, we was in good shape the last practice. I don't ever qualify good at Rockingham, and last year we started 21st and was leading in 50 laps, and I think the fall race started 35th and was battling for the lead on lap 80 when the caution come out. So never qualified good, but this place kind of reminds me of Nashville, my home track, and just never qualified good there, but always raced good.
Your crew chief, Tony Glover, said after Daytona, he said, you know, we were in a position after the second race of the year, walking out of Rockingham with the points lead, and then we just couldn't quite carry it to the end. He said, this year we're going to give Sterling a better car. How do you feel about your chances to win the 1995 Winston Cup Championship, and how are you approaching it differently than maybe you did last year?
Well, last year, you know, we left here leading the points, and we went to Richmond and qualified 6th and had a, you know, second or third place car easy, and we cut a tire down and lost a lap and never got it back. And, you know, things like that happened to us all year. We just had a fast race car, but nobody seemed to notice. Didn't qualify good, but would always, you know, come back up the top 5. And we fell out of, you know, 10 or 12 races, and that really hurt us in the points. And this year, just, you know, I think the team is really focused. They really want to do it. Not saying they wanted to last year, but, you know, they got a lot of desire. They want to be up New York at the banquet and sitting at the balcony up there as champions. And I'd love to, too. But it'll be a hard season, but, you know, we're going to try to run hard, race hard every week, and do the best we can do to win some races and win a championship.
And hopefully get some victories besides at Daytona.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're trying to do that. Sterling, thanks for stopping by. Good luck today. And, of course, you can catch all the flag-to-flag action of the Goodwrench 500 right here on TNN. The coverage gets underway following race day at noon Eastern with the green flag scheduled for 12:30. Still to come on this edition of Race Day, we'll talk to a former Silver Bullet who now suffers from Big Mac attacks, and we'll find out who's hot on the Busch circuit. Stick around.
Race Day is brought to you in part by Mopar, Chrysler Corporation Parts, and the Chrysler Plymouth Dodge Truck, Jeep, and Eagle dealers who sell and install them. By Subaru. Test drive an all-weather, all-road, all-wheel drive Subaru today. By Jiffy Lube. If it doesn't say Jiffy Lube, it just isn't Jiffy Lube. And by Speed Stick. Like you, it never quits. By Minute.
And welcome back to Rockingham, everybody. Just 2 races into the Winston Cup season, and driver changes are already being made. Winston West champion Mike Chase has lost his ride with Active Motorsports after failing to make the Daytona 500 and then qualifying 44th on Friday here at the Rock. Taking over the seat is everybody's favorite replacement driver, Jimmy Hensley, who qualified the car 32nd in yesterday's second round.
Well, you know, I was here yesterday, and Dean Meyer I think they decided, you know, they need to make a change, and I just happened to be here and was kind of standing around and, you know, asked me if I wanted to, you know, try the car and see, you know, how we could do, and hopefully, you know, we can do this rest of the year.
Well, Hensley's certainly not the only driver in a new situation for 95, although most of the other arrangements were a little bit more planned. One of the drivers who fits that bill is Bill Elliott, who is back with his brothers again this year and back in Dawsonville. And Bill joins us now, and he seemed to be more relaxed to me in these first couple of weeks of the season than I've seen you in some time. Is that just my perception, or is that the way it really is?
Well, I think things have been a little bit easier than what I expected to some extent. I've got some awful good people on this organization. You know, we're still having a little bit of problem getting everybody acclimated and used to going to all the races and kind of trying to get them used to communicating and doing that sort of thing as with any new group of people. I think it's going to take us a couple of races to kind of get that smoothed out. You know, just like the other day qualifying, you were off just a little bit qualifying, but that's all it takes, as competitive as the cars are this day and time. You know, come Saturday morning, we were going to rerun, and we kind of messed around with some stuff and elected not to. But, you know, in this business, you got to kind of use your past experience to best prepare you for the future. And, you know, some of these guys know more than they've been around Winston Cup race and still have a little bit to learn.
A lot of people don't realize there was only 1 second between winning the pole and going home at this race. That's an incredibly competitive qualifying session.
It really is. If I'd have run, you know, just a little over a tenth quicker, I'd have been in the top 10. You know, and a tenth slower, and I'd have been in the 30s. So, you know, as competitive as this sport is today, it's totally unreal. And, you know, what you got to look at, especially from the fan side, is all these guys just getting used to kind of working together, getting used to coming to these racetracks, you know, getting used to what I like in a race car and kind of working toward that part of it. You know, McDonald's has been great to us from their standpoint. All other associates have been super as far as, you know, supporting us and getting us ready for this deal. You know, look back on Daytona, we ended up 23rd, but we ran well all day long. We ended up having a flat there, a little over halfway in the race, and just never could recoup from that.
One of the things that you were notable for when you had some of your greatest success was actually turning the wrenches on your own car. Now that you're back in this situation, given the sponsor obligations and other things that now champion Bill Elliott has. What does this do to your ability to continue to work on the car?
It's still tough because now your other obligations, it's like all winter long, we've done a lot of promotional stuff for McDonald's and Amoco and Reese's and Coca-Cola and all this deal. And it becomes hard to be able to keep your focus still on the race car. That's why I've got some awful good people on the team that can do that. But still, we're a little rusty trying to work together because we've not worked together through a full season. I think once we get through all these races the first time around, we'll be a lot better the second time around. Just like, for example, yesterday, we probably should have used that first practice yesterday morning to work more on race setup than trying to think about requalifying.
Well, we're going to watch what happens to you today with a lot of interest, as do all the Bill Elliott fans. Awesome Bill from Dawsonville's back in Georgia, and we appreciate you stopping by to visit.
Appreciate it.
Now, a couple of Bill's good buddies were in Nashville earlier this past week for an announcement that will be good news for a lot of our TNN viewers. Dale Earnhardt and Darrell Waltrip joined country music legend Porter Wagner as they announced that Opryland USA is now the official NASCAR destination. The Alliance will create themed vacation packages, track promotions, special events at the park, and special NASCAR awards. Opryland is owned by Gaylord Entertainment, which joins together with NASCAR in the project. When we come back, the defending Busch Grand National champion joins us. But first, here's a look at the Speed Stick Fast Track Update, brought to you by Speed Stick. Like you, it never quits, by Menon. And welcome back, everybody. When Chad Little headed to Rockingham this weekend, he was hoping to become the first driver to win back-to-back Busch races at Daytona and Rockingham since Dale Earnhardt back in 1986. Stephanie Boyd tells us how he fared as she looks back at yesterday's Busch Grand National race here at the Rock.
Just 1 week after winning the Goodies 300 at Daytona, Chad Little burst into the lead from the outside of row 1, getting the jump on pole sitter and defending series champ David Green. The first yellow of the afternoon flies just a few laps in when number 56 Dale Williams spins and everybody scrambles to avoid him. Among the casualties, Stanton Barrett in the 91 and Bobby Hillen in the 20. Then Williams gets involved in a second yellow too when Robbie Reiser gets loose and the 56 has nowhere to go. Give a nod to Penny Moise, who does a great job of getting by in the Dial Purex Ford. The leaders head to the pits as the third caution comes out, and when they're done, Morgan Shepherd is in the lead after taking on only 2 tires. But it isn't long before Little blasts by Shepherd on all-new rubber to retake the lead, and Mark Martin follows along to move back into second. After a mid-race caution, the Winn-Dixie driver challenges the leader on a restart. It's Martin and Little side by side, but Martin can't pull off the pass, and Little once again starts pulling away. A few laps later, and points leader Green gets past Johnny Benson for third. But just after that, the Slim Jim Chevy falls off the pace and heads to the pits with a terminal power plant. After pit stops for the 5th and final caution, the driver of the 23 car has to get past Shepherd again, and he does it with a little effort. And from there on out, it's the Chad Little show as he leaves the rest of the field in his dust on the way to his second straight Busch win and the second of his career. Martin is the runner-up, followed by Terry Labonte and Johnny Benson. Shepherd winds up 5th. This is Stephanie Boyd reporting for Race Day.
Now, certainly a driver who would like to be having a lot better season than he's having already joins us now. David Green, the Busch Grand National champion. And motors. That was not a big day yesterday for the V8s for a lot of teams. What was it? What was it about the engines yesterday? About a dozen teams had trouble.
Well, I don't know, Mark. To pinpoint it, in our case, I think we broke either a crankshaft or a connecting rod. But, that's just one of those things that's going to happen, not the engine builder's fault. I know in a lot of the other cases it could have been valve trains and stuff like that. But I tell you, I was awful proud of the Slim Jim team. All the guys at the shop did a great job putting that new Monte Carlo body on it. We sat on the pole. We beat those Fords in qualifying, but Chad, he was pretty tough yesterday.
Well, not Little had a lot for everybody for 2 races in a row now. The big story here this weekend for the Busch Series has been the lack of parts, the availability of parts for the new 9.5-to-1 compression engines for the Busch Grand National Series. So from where you're sitting, how critical a situation is this?
Well, it's not very good at this point. The cylinder heads and stuff like that are pretty rare at this point in time. And I think with the Truck Series coming along, running the V8 9.5-to-1 compression, it's really kind of gobbled up all of our parts. But hopefully NASCAR and Chevrolet and everybody will get together and get everything remedied. But, you know, we're okay in my camp, but, you know, yesterday's not a good indication, I think, of what's happening with these engines.
There is such a strong field of drivers this year in the Busch Grand National Series, and certainly Chad Little is one driver a lot of people are already saying could be the man to beat for the championship. Give us the sense of the long picture for 1995 and what David Green and the Slim Jim team has to do to repeat as champion.
Well, first of all, Mark, you know, I picked Chad. He's going to be a contender, and he's already shown it. But, you know, he's had 2 great races, and he's a great team, great driver. But, you know, in a Slim Jim situation, we're still a little bit better than we were last year. You know, we had a failure at Daytona and got involved in a wreck here, but we've already got that pole under our belt. And, you know, my team's great. We're rolling good. The Monte Carlo's good. You know, I look for Chad to be there every week, and we're going to do the same thing we did in '94, is be there each and every race and go as hard as we can. And I also look for that black number 3 to be there. So we're gonna team up on those Fords, Jeff and I are, and hopefully we can repeat, hopefully.
We've got about 30 seconds left. Priority number 1 for you this year, you've said before, is to get a bunch of wins. Explain why that's important with the time we got left.
Well, not a bunch, but just get more than I had last year, you know. But, you know, I think we proved the Slim Jim team is the most consistent team out there. The equipment we have, Carl Wagner on our engines, Chevrolet, Goodyear, the whole support is there each and every week. I just now want to become a little more aggressive as a driver to where those 3rd and 4th place finishes I had last year, we're going to turn them into wins this year.
And who knows, a few more poles and you may be in the Busch Clash again this year. Thanks for stopping by, David.
We sure hope so. Thanks, Mark.
NASCAR may be done with Daytona for now, but motorcycle road racing's premier event, the Daytona 200, is only weeks away, and Race Day and TNN will be bringing you the action live on March 12th. And be sure to get your pens out, because on Race Day that day, one lucky viewer is going to win a one-of-a-kind Yamaha YZF 600R replica of Yamaha's Vance & Hines Racing's 1995 blue and white factory race bike. All you have to do is send a postcard with your name, address, and phone number to the following address. We'll be right back.
Race Day is brought to you in part by Mopar, Chrysler Corporation Parts, and the Chrysler Plymouth Dodge Truck, Jeep, and Eagle dealers who sell and install them. By Subaru. Test drive an all-weather, all-road, all-wheel drive Subaru today. By Jiffy Lube. If it doesn't say Jiffy Lube, it just isn't Jiffy Lube. And by Speed Stick. Like you, it never quits. By Minute.
And welcome back, everybody. The Indianapolis 500 may still be 3 months away, but it's probably not soon enough for one rookie driver. Davey Hamilton is an open-wheel standout who is best known for his super-modified exploits, but now it looks like he's headed to Indy for the big race, and he's here in Rockingham to not only talk about that, but the atmosphere between the two things. And Davey, first of all, you've been at the Brickyard in the month of May. Now you're here at the North Carolina Motor Speedway. Let's talk a little bit about the anticipation that you feel and the sense of difference between the two locations.
Well, I think it's all the same. You know, any racetrack with all the race fans that are the most loyal fans in the world, I think, are all here. They're ready. The excitement of the race is about to start. And the difference with Indianapolis 500, there's 500,000 people there. And it's pretty incredible. I've never been able to get in a race car yet for the start of that race, but I'm looking forward to doing that.
Well, it seems like there's 500,000 people based on the traffic flow that's been coming in here today, but that's good for NASCAR, of course. What about your situation? You're going to go back to the Brickyard this year. You passed the rookie orientation back in 1991. Let's talk a little bit about the deal that you've got going for arguably the biggest race in the world.
Well, it all started out with Chip Ganassi giving me a race car. He wanted to help out, and he gave me a 1994 Renard chassis. Then Ron Himmelgarn, who I went through rookie orientation with in 1991, came to me and offered me a fantastic deal, and that was to run the car. And Dennis McCormick came aboard with Ron, and it's a big joint effort. You know, everybody's wanting to see me get there, and it took a lot of people to put the program together. We have Delta Faucet for a big sponsorship. We got Bowling Industry, Jack's Tool Rental, Reebok Skywalker. Just a big effort. A lot of teams are throwing a lot in the middle to make this happen, and it's just a real good opportunity for me.
You got about 30 seconds left here. Well, what do you do to prepare yourself for it, and what other racing do you do or not do between now and the Brickyard?
Well, I think I'm going to just wait for that race. There's some Indy Light opportunities to run at Phoenix and Nazareth. I will do that just for some rear engine experience if I can do the Indy Lights. But other than that, the super modified sprint car midgets that I love to race, I think I'm going to put them on the back burner until after the Brickyard race.
Keep an eye on this guy. He's a great driver. He's got a good deal going. I bet he's going to make the race. Thanks for joining us, Davey. And one other note from the open wheel ranks. For those of you who may have missed it, TNN's Ralph Shaheen joined up with executives of the network and with some of sprint car racing's bigwigs at the Outlaws season opener in St. Augustine Speedway to announce that in 1995, the Knoxville Nationals will be televised live here on TNN. That's right. The Knoxville Nationals will be live on August 19th at 10 p.m. Eastern, so mark your calendars right now. And that's going to do it for this edition of Race Day, but straight ahead is TNN's live coverage of the Goodwrench 500. Then we'll be back again tonight at 7:30 Eastern to wrap up the weekend in racing. Until then, I'm Mark Allen in for Pat Patterson. Enjoy your Racing Sunday right here on TNN.
Communications provided by Racing Electronics. For a free catalog, call 1-800-272-7111. And by Featherlight Trailers, the official trailer of NASCAR and major sponsor of the NHRA. Remember to call Featherlight for all your trailer needs at 1-800-800-1230.